With each gaming console that comes along, there comes great games, and not so great games. And then there's the games that everyone just seems to forget about. This can be a good thing, but also a bad thing. So, I'm here to review the diamonds in the rough, but also the buried pieces of shit. So let's get started with this episode of Forgotten Games. Now, what can be said about Legos? They have been one of the top toys for over 70 years, and their huge success has branched off into things like amusement parks and also a ton of video games. The first was Lego Island, which was released in 1997, and within the first year it had sold over 1 million copies. Seeing their huge success of the game, LEGO released a few more LEGO games within the following years. And in 1999, LEGO Racers for PC, Nintendo 64, and PlayStation 1 was released. And the one we'll be looking at today is the PC version, since it's the one I grew up with. I remember when I was 7, I went to Big Lots to pick out any game I wanted, and I chose LEGO Racers. Strangely, 6 years after the game was released, they still had a brand new copy of the game, along with about 5 other LEGO games. When I got home, I had started up the old Dell computer running Windows 98, and while watching the game start up, I knew I was in for something good. The intro for the game was great, and I always loved watching it. The funniest part is when Rocket Racer goes into the pits and a bunch of crazy crap happens. 2 guys run into each other, which sends a wrench flying into the air, which then hits a random guy in the head. But then, while this guy's carrying a stack of tires, one of the tires falls off and then hits the same guy, again. Now look at this situation. Baron Von Baron and Basil the Batlord hit each other, and Rocket Racer just zooms right by. So at the main menu, you get your normal racing options, just like every other racer, except for build, which we'll get to in a little bit. But one thing that's cool is that you can change how many laps you want to race, and configure the controls to whatever you like. But it's when you click on the video option is when things start to get weird. This warning pops up. You are about to change how the game works. If you are unsure about these settings, ask an older person for help. Okay, well that's fine since this game was targeted towards young kids, but why does the front of the box say that this game is for people that are from the ages of 6 to 99? I'm really sorry, Granny, but LEGO Racers doesn't want you to play this game. But I digress. At least we can pick a different language though. I'm gonna pick the Norway language. Okay, now let's check out the brig. Here's where you can create your very own car, license, and minifigure. This is one of the coolest parts of the game, and you can create up to 100. I remember having a lot of fun with this. Creating a new minifigure is very simple. You pick your head, your shirt, pants, and your hair, hat, or helmet. And then you get to make your driver's license. You can name your driver whatever you want, and even change your snapshot. And then comes the last and coolest step, building your own car. You start out with 4 different sets, but you can get more if you beat the other racers. And when you beat all of them, you'll have access to all 12 sets. Learning the interface takes a little time to get used to, but once you do, you can create a car pretty quickly. You can make your car as crazy or as cool as you want. And then once you're done, you can test drive the car and see if you like it. This is a great place to learn the controls as well. You can also learn what all the different power-ups do. If you need to make a sharp turn, then hold the power slide button while pressing an arrow. The power slide is not as efficient as drifting in a regular kart racing game, but it still works okay. Now Circuit Race is the main game mode. There are 7 different circuits at all, and each one has a host and champion. If you beat the host and champion, then you get to advance to the next circuit. The first host and champion is Captain Redbird, and he's a real asshole. The game plays and runs at a very smooth 60 frames per second, and the game looks really good too. On each track there will be 5 different types of Lego bricks. Collecting 1 red brick will allow you to shoot a cannonball at someone. Collecting a red and a white brick will allow you to hook onto someone and pass by. Getting 1 red and 2 white bricks will allow you to summon this lightning bolt, which will electrocute all the other racers. Getting 3 whites and a red brick will summon 3 homing rockets, which will automatically target the top 3 players that are in front of you. Obtaining 1 yellow brick will allow you to put oil in the back of you, and if the other players drive over it, then they'll slip. Getting a yellow and 2 whites is the same sort of thing, only it's an exploding barrel. Getting 2 whites and yellow will allow you to shoot back this force field, and if players drive into it, then they will get sent back. Getting 3 whites and a yellow will allow you to unleash one of the most powerful weapons in the game. It's this mummy force field, and if players drive through it, then it will reverse their controls. So instead of you trying to move left, you'll instead move right. This happens for about 10 seconds. The blue bricks are shields. The more whites you collect, the more powerful and longer your shield will last. The green bricks are speed boosts. And again, the more whites you collect, the longer your speed boost will last. But collecting 2 whites and a green brick will allow you to fly. But by far the best power-up is this portal that lets you skip part of the track. But the downside is that if you use it just a couple times, then you'll get way far ahead, and you'll have no chance of losing. Like right here, I just finished the race, and I'm about to overlap this guy. And sometimes the game designers are way too generous with the white and green bricks. Just let me show you what I mean. See, in just 2 warps, I skipped about 80% of the track, and look how far ahead I am. Now remember when I said that Captain Redbird was an asshole? Well, it's true. It seems that every host and champion has a weapon that they always like to use. Captain Redbird always uses the cannonball, and King Gahuka always uses shields. Now when you finish the second circuit, the mood goes from being very kid-friendly to being dark, depressing, and killing. I mean, it speaks for itself. Just look at these skulls. Suddenly, the game becomes very badass. Or should I say, bat-ass? If you count the test track, then there are 14 different tracks in LEGO Racers, and they all feel very different. Almost every track in the game has a shortcut. In this one, you have to pick up a shield, which then lets you pass through this camouflaged rock. Another cool one is when you get to drive through a waterfall. Some of the shortcuts have to be accessed by hitting a cannonball into something. But the stupidest of all is on Ice Planet Pathway. Now take a look at this track design. The left path is a shortcut and the right path is the normal way. Which one do you think you're gonna pick? Definitely the left one. Why? Because it gives you 3 whites, a green, and a red, giving you instant access to 3 rockets or the warp. Even the first time playing this track, you're gonna want to go in the cave because it looks more fun. Now this wouldn't be so bad if the shortcut wasn't obvious. I mean, just look, there's no doubt you won't see it. And the strangest of all is that the CPUs never take that shortcut. It's right there. It's like they don't even notice it. Also, not only is Captain Redbeard an asshole, but Johnny Thunder is too. One time when I finished the race, Johnny was falling right behind me. Johnny, you better knock it off. Johnny, Johnny, knock it off. Just knock it off! Oh, Captain Redbeard, you're so pathetic. Nobody even likes you. I mean, look, your own pirate crew is not even cheering for you. They're cheering for Rocket Racer instead. Hey, look at me. I'm not even holding the steering wheel and I'm still driving. I must be a really good driver. Hey, look, we suddenly got the Rocket, what's his face? In order to beat Mr. What's-His-Face, you have to race on his own track. Oh yeah, I totally don't look stoned. Wait a minute, when you start the race it says you're racing on a Rocket City Run, but when you're selecting a circuit it says you're racing a Rocket Racer Run. I don't know if Mr. What's-His-Face is taking me to Rocket City Run or Rocket Racer Run. I don't know about you, but if I was a greedy bastard, I'd be pretty scared of where Rocket Racer's taking me. Mr. What's-His-Face's wife is even convincing me to go in the portal too. Mr. I don't even give a crap anymore. Anyway, he's the hardest racer in the entire Mario Kart universe. In order to beat him, you have to grab every white and green power brick you can in order to do the warp thingamajigger. Now, when I was 7 years, 5 days, 8 hours, and 23 minutes old, I tried countless times to beat Mr. What's-His-Face. Now, it may take you a few centuries to beat him, but once you do, you'll get the greatest feeling in the world. Oh, I beat Mr. What's-His-Face. And take a look at this, he's in 6th place right now. Wait, what? He's suddenly in 2nd? How does he do that? How does he do that? Well, now that I'm the greatest LEGO racing champion of all time, there's only one thing left to do now, and that's to check out the versus mode. Wait, why isn't it unlocked? I even beat Mr. What's-His-Face. Well, I guess the only thing we can really do is beat the time trials. Now we can check out the versus mode. Wait, what? It's still locked? What else do I have to do? Take a look for yourself. I did every circuit, I unlocked every single car and minifigure, and I did every single time trial. Why is the versus mode still locked? Why is it still locked? Mr. What's-Your-Face, can you tell me what's still locked? Can you tell me what's unlocked? This is not something that you do in a racing game. This mode should be unlocked automatically. I mean, it's like somebody said, hey, you should make it so you have to unlock the versus mode. And then somebody else said, hey, you know what? That's a great idea. Do you want to know how to unlock the versus mode in LEGO Racers? Do you really want to know how to unlock the versus mode in LEGO Racers? You need to have a joystick or a controller to do the versus mode. What? A keyboard? A keyboard like this doesn't cut it? You can't use the keypads here or the WSD keys? No, that doesn't cut it. You need a second controller to do 2-player. Why? A keyboard is perfectly fine. Why do you need a second controller or joystick? It should say right on the box, this game requires a second joystick or controller in order to do the 2-player. Because what if a person doesn't have that and they really want to do the 2-player? Then they're gonna have to go out and buy a joystick or a controller. That's bullshit. Why? Like, why? Why? Now, after 7 years of playing this game, I have gotten a little tired of it, but luckily there are still some fun new things to try out. For instance, you could be an asshole to the other racers by dragging them back with the grappling hook. By naming a character a certain name, you can actually enable cheats. This one makes all the power-ups maxed out. Now, the test track only gives you a maximum of 2 white bricks, meaning you can't time travel, but with this cheat, you can. But since the game doesn't know where to go after you time travel, you'll just fall into the world of glitchiness. And speaking of glitches, here's a couple of glitches that I found on the desert track and Ice Planet pathway. Well, that's LEGO Racers for ya. Even though the game is 13 years old, it's still a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. It's a really good, underrated kart racer. And I still really enjoy it today. Oh no.